Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live today. I am so excited to have Jamie Love, aka Ageless Beauty, here on with us today. She is such an inspiration. Here she is now. She's such an inspiration. She is the organizer of the Raw Food Worldwide Meetups and also a vegan. She's been raw vegan as well, and she talks all about her journey and her transformation that she's had for the last 20 plus years. So let's get her on here. 1 second. Add. All right, let's give it a second and we'll get Jamie on here.
Oh, wait.
Where's that girlfriend?
I gotta flip it around.
It's like you just appeared out of nowhere. It's like, oh, there she is.
Oh my goodness. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
You look radiant. I'm trying to lower this tripod. It feels like it's a bit high, but maybe I can prop myself up. I'll sit on a pillow. Hold on.
Yeah. It looks great though. You look radiant too.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have a pretty dress on.
Oh, it's a top, but yeah, it's like a little tube top.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you're doing this again, but
I know.
switching the interview for the interviewee.
Awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited because I've been following your journey for a while now too, and it's just been so cool to see your transformation and especially for this vegan Lent, for people to abstain from animal products and to just make that shift in their life, even if it's for 40 to 50 days, right? Like what that can actually do. And you being this Raw Food Worldwide Meetup organizer, you put that together and then thousands of people joined. Oh my goodness, that's a really big deal, to be able to gather that many people all over the world is, not too many people can do that. They can try, but for some reason you and your glow and just who you are was able to just make it happen.
Oh my God, thank you. Well, I really feel like my gift in this world is to inspire and instill enthusiasm in people. I feel like I have this ability where I can get anybody excited about anything. Like, guess what, we're doing this. They're like, oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
I love it. Have you always been like that? Do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey from the beginning?
I don't even know how it started. I mean, I guess it started with my dad. He was always telling me, go after your dreams, be the best you can be. Like, he inspired me. So then when I got a bit older and I got into personal growth and I had my transformation, my weight loss transformation after I had my kids, when I went raw for the first time, because I've been on and off raw so many times. But that was 15 years ago or so, right? So that just inspired me to want to share more, and just to show people what's possible and what can we do, and I think it just kind of became something that I naturally felt passionate towards, was to uplift people, inspire people, and create change. I don't know. So it's like part of who I am now.
I love it. It's like that spark of light. You've had that spark of light within you, and that shined, and so that gave everyone else permission to shine too, which is really, really special. Thank you for
it's important, because I didn't always feel that way. I didn't always feel like I could shine my light and my beauty, and actually the thing is I actually felt so insecure most of my life. That's kind of where the ageless beauty thing comes from, is because it's the vanity, right? Like we all have to look a certain way, and there's these beauty standards, but it's where's the beauty that doesn't age? The beauty inside of us that doesn't age, and it's these qualities like love and compassion and forgiveness, that's ageless beauty. That's what I always try to tell people. So
I love that. Can you share a little bit about that beginning journey, and whether it was when you lost all the weight or before that? Can you kind of walk us through? Tell us a story, Jamie Love.
Okay, so my mom, I love my mom, bless her soul, but she's so vain, and I love that I love that about her because I wouldn't be who I am today if she wasn't so vain, you know? She always got all dressed up. She can't leave the house without makeup on. She would even wear lipstick in the house when nobody was there. She just always had to have makeup on. Always like plucking her eyebrows or doing something, you know? So I grew up the same way, but my mom was like, she was like really into like plastic surgery. And I knew that I didn't want to go down that route. I knew that I wanted to look and feel beautiful, like naturally. And I had rosacea and things like that. Like I had skin issues. Like I felt very inflamed. And when I went, well, first I went fully vegan because I was vegetarian my whole life, but I ate a lot of pasta, a lot of bread, a lot of junk food, soda, all that stuff. So I was still like, I wouldn't say vegan because it wasn't for animals. I just didn't like meat, but I was vegetarian, I would call it. And then I went vegan probably when I was like 18. And because of that, I lost weight, skin cleared up. I started looking and feeling really good. Plus I was fasting, I was juicing, doing enemas. Wow. Like I was like, this is the fountain of youth. This is the natural way to look and feel radiantly beautiful. And then when I went raw, like even more so, like I just felt like my natural beauty that God gave me wants to shine through, but we cover it over with inflammation and we cover it over with, lack of sleep, and we cover it over with our insecurities, our anger, and but our beauty wants to come through, so when we clean our body and we clean our mind and we get rid of all the negative thoughts and we purify our heart and our spirit, that natural beauty just like radiates through. Plus, when you're eating healthy and you're taking care of yourself, it enhances your natural, beautiful features anyway. So that was my goal, was like, I didn't want to, like, I'm not opposed to wearing makeup. Like I'll wear it if I had somewhere to go. I'm not totally anti-makeup, but I want to feel beautiful in my skin, like just by itself. And I want to feel confident in my skin. So that's kind of like, where it all stemmed from.
Wow.
And then, I got into, well, because we can't really help aging, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I was thinking like, I'm going to be 41 in like a week, like exactly a week away. And I'm thinking like, I don't feel bad about it. I feel actually excited. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be 41. And I would feel the same way if I was turning 97. I'd be like, I'm turning 97, like it's just having that youthful spirit. And no matter what your age is, like we can just feel alive and youthful and vibrant and playful, like through every stage of our life.
I love that. That's so great.
And that's the cool thing about like the raw food community too, is like, it does kind of bring you back to that childlike innocence, like, especially when you stop eating animals or animal products. It's like you develop a sort of like empathy and compassion that you might have been kind of blocked off to when you were eating animal products, and your heart just opens in a new way.
Did you have that same experience for you? I know you were, literally from birth, like vegetarian. That's so rare,
I still experienced something though. I still did. It wasn't because I did eat fish on occasion. I did eat eggs and dairy. So I gave all of that up, but it wasn't until I gave up also gluten. I gave up, the junk food and the refined sugars and things like that. That, the clarity just started to come back in. My heart started to open more. I remember I used to watch horror movies when I was younger. And then as I started to get healthier, my body started to get healthier and I became more sensitive. I couldn't watch that stuff anymore. So.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. I can't watch it. I can't even believe. I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch, those like true crimes or whatever, and then you'd always have nightmares. And you're like, well, I wonder why I have nightmares, because I'm literally putting all that junk into your mind before you go to sleep, or just
I
in
had
there.
so many nightmares.
Yeah, and that creates that fear and that anxiety within your body, which also can create stuff on your face and the way you eat to try to numb those feelings, so.
And you don't even realize it, but like when you start to clean your body up and you start being more mindful about what you're putting in your body, and then you're like, oh, okay, what else am I, you're more mindful of the energy that you're around. You're more mindful of like what you're consuming on social media. Like now, like I could hear a song and I could just feel if it resonates or not, or I could see something or whatever it is. And if it just doesn't feel good in my body, I'm like, I don't, I don't even want that. I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to watch it, So I'm very, very particular about what I consume on every level
I
these
love it. I
days.
love it.
Yeah.
I love that you say that. Oh, Jerome's chiming in here. My dad would always watch horror movies as well, and I absorbed a lot of that. The mind
Yeah. Yeah. My mom was the same way. My mom used to watch these Lifetime kidnapping movies.
Oh yeah.
True stories, So it was like, I don't know, I guess, and I had friends that watched it too. So like I'd go to my friend's house, she'd be watching a Lifetime movie and like, I was always like around these Lifetime kidnapping. So then I always grew up with this fear that my kids were going to be kidnapped and it just puts all this fear inside of you. And I had to do a lot of work to like let go of all of that to try to not live in fear.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure I don't think they do that nowadays, but back in the day they used to literally put missing children on milk boxes.
Right.
Do you remember
Right.
can you imagine like a kid sitting at like the breakfast table and like you're like, "Oh mom, this kid's missing." Like what in their mind subconsciously is happening? It's like
Right.
and they're drinking milk it's just yeah.
That's weird. Why milk? Yeah. Which is weird because they steal the baby cows from their moms. Think about that. Oh
I
my
know.
God.
Oh
That's
my
so crazy. Like the
it is.
irony of like you're drinking milk from a mother whose baby was kidnapped from her,
Oh my
and they
God.
put the kidnapped child's face on the milk carton. That's so ironic.
That is really something I've never actually thought about until right now. Like
I
that
me
is
neither. I never thought about
oh my gosh. The
it.
horror. The horror.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. What do you say? You hit the nail on the head. Exactly. Exactly. Well, I want to go into a little bit too, like when you made that transition from vegetarian to vegan, when you actually let go of the animal products, or I'm sorry, the dairy. Were you on date? Were you on cheese? What were you eating? That was you said fish and then dairy as well.
Fish was on occasion. My family was more meat eaters, so I only would
Okay.
ever get fish if we went to like a restaurant and they had like a buffet with crab legs or something, because it was
Okay.
very rare. It wasn't like, I liked seafood, but my mom, they didn't make it often. So I
Okay.
didn't, I hated meat. Like I could not stomach it at all. So my mom, because we're Italian, I would get the bread and butter and pasta
Yeah.
every night. My whole life,
Wow.
I had bread and pasta because it was always Italian. It was like baked ziti, um, lasagna, like whatever, pasta with sauce. That's what my mom made every night.
Yeah.
So what was left was pasta with butter and salt and bread with butter. And that's pretty much like what I had every day for my life.
And no
Yeah.
vegetables. Any fruits or
Um,
vegetables?
maybe sometimes, but like I think as a kid, I didn't really like vegetables. So, it's like, what's the easiest thing you could give a kid is like pasta with butter. Yeah, like easy.
Absolutely. And so when you got off of that, like how did you feel? Like what was happening to you spiritually and emotionally when you got off that?
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing that happened was when well, we did go vegan, but right around the same time because my aunt got cancer. So my mom started researching how to help her. And through that, we went vegan to inspire her. She never went
Oh,
vegan, but me and my mom did. So I was still living at home at the time. My mom would cook for me and she would juice for me. She would read to me about fasting. So we would fast together. Then she would tell me all about enemas. So she's like, you got to do enemas. I'm like, okay, I'll do enemas. So we just started learning together and doing all of this. And she made it easy for me. She would wake up, she would just bring me fresh juice in the morning, whatever it was. She made it like so easy. And, I think through the fasting, the juicing, the colon cleansing, and going vegan, I think just the clarity, the brain fog, that was like the biggest thing. My skin clearing up, I lost weight, the inflammation, the tone of my skin, the color of my skin changed, my sensitivity to the sun changed. So like now I no longer burn in the sun, but I used to burn really badly back in the day. And my eyes were like super sensitive to the light back then.
wow. And a lot of people wonder that. They're like, oh, I go in the sun and I burn and they don't realize it's that acidosis in the body coming out and getting burned from the sun from what they're
Ooh.
actually consuming. You know what I
Right,
mean? So
right,
you were
right.
getting all that acidity out, and next thing you know, your skin's like, yeah.
Yeah, and now it's just funny because now I'm so I almost live like a chemical-free lifestyle now. I don't want to say 100% because there's always things that will have that probably has chemicals in it. But I don't use like over-the-counter like shampoos, and actually I don't even shampoo my hair at all. I stopped. I just do water now, and then like my skin, I don't even use soap on my body.
Wow.
Yeah, so we use like all natural laundry detergents. We don't have chemical cleaners in the home. Yeah.
Wow. And how is your hair? Did your hair go through like a transformation of like being oily for a little while and then it
Yeah, it's a little oily underneath because I have castor oil and you know how like it sticks to your neck. Like, so I did get some castor oil in my hair,
yeah.
but yeah, I did go through an oily phase. It was embarrassing a little bit. Like I was okay with it though because my hair was really damaged. I had dyed my hair, used like chemical bleach on my hair, like dyed it like so many years, my whole life since I was 12. And then I would put heat on it. So I had so much hair just like breaking, falling off, and it was like thin and dry and breaking. And even when I was eating like health, like raw, even when I was like fruitarian and stuff, my hair was not good. So then I was like, maybe I'm putting bad energy into it. So then I would go to the salon and I'm having them wash my hair, but
Yeah.
they're combing it with this like, plastic comb that probably has like razor sharp edges. And I'm like, and they're like putting hot water on it. I'm like, okay, this is not good for my hair. I got to stop going to the salon. So then I switched over and I had done the no poo method with the baking soda and the vinegar for a long time. But for that, I switched back because then I dyed my hair. I went like 3 years without dyeing my hair and then I dyed it again, completely ruined my hair. It was so healthy at
Oh,
that point. Like just stop the hair dye if you're doing hair dye. Then I switched over to henna. I was doing henna hair dye for a while. So then I stopped doing everything. I stopped doing heat, stopped doing hair dye, stopped doing the henna. Then I switched over to the baking soda, but even that was like drying my hair out. So then I switched over to clay. I was washing my hair with clay. Even that felt like it was too drying.
yeah.
And then my mom said she uses water, but she's like 70. So I'm like, well, you can get away with it. You don't have any oil on your scalp. But then one of the girls in my group was like, oh, my friend just uses water. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. So I just tried it because I don't work. I don't have to like go to a job or anything. Like I have the freedom to be able to go through this greasy stage on my own.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did get a little greasy. I would just like put it back in braids and things like that. And then it did started to normalize out. And we'll still get a little greasy like on the top sometimes or like underneath. But
Yeah.
for the most part, it's so much softer. It's growing. It's growing, which I'm happy about. And it feels
Awesome.
like thicker and it just feels more like like a woman's hair. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
women, I feel like we're just supposed to have long, thick,
Yeah.
soft hair, like wild
Yes.
almost, like this goddess hair, that's what I always
Yes.
wanted, like just this like wild goddess hair. So
I
that's
love it.
kind of,
And it's like your antennas, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they're also your spiritual antennas. So when we stop messing with it, then you can receive more, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's beautiful. I love. And how long have
Oh
you
yeah,
been doing
well, I
it
did
for?
stop cutting it too. Although my daughter, like, she's like, you need to trim your dead ends. So I did let her like cut the dead ends off not too long. As soon as she was like, I was like, well, you want to do it? And she was like, yeah. So she ran to get the scissors because she's like, if I change my mind, mom's gonna say no. And you know how like
Oh my
teen
gosh.
girls they love like painting nails, cutting hair. So
That
she
is
ran
so
she ran so
cute.
fast to get the scissors because she was so excited to cut my hair.
I love it. I remember as a kid, like I always loved to like pop pimples,
I
you know?
love popping pimples. I love popping pimples. That is like everyone's thing.
Can I get that pimple on your back?
Look at that. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
that's so
that's so
funny.
funny. That's really
Yeah.
funny. I love it. And so when you went down this path and you obviously your hair is becoming itself and
It's
becoming
getting
its
there. Yeah. It's getting
shape.
there.
Is this a recent thing or has this been happening? Like when was the last time you actually washed your hair?
With shampoo, maybe a year.
Nice, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks amazing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, my husband said it doesn't smell, so I'm like, and I'll do the dry brushing and I'll comb it, like I'll try to keep it in braids as often as possible. I braid it at night. So
Cool.
my biggest thing is I'm just trying to nurse it back to health. I'm just trying to like let it do its thing. That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
that's it. Let it do its thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to go into a little bit about your pregnancy and birth, because you said that after you got pregnant, like, can you tell me a little bit of that story about gaining weight and then losing it and all of that?
Yeah, so I did go vegan with my son, but like I said, I was still eating I wasn't eating like a whole food plant-based vegan diet and I wasn't doing raw. So when I got pregnant with my son, I still ate like a lot of junk food, vegan stuff. And I gained 60 pounds with my son.
Wow. Wow.
Um, and then I had him 3 years later. I had my daughter, and I gained 50 pounds with my son. And my second pregnancy, I gained 60 pounds. So
Wow.
then I was eating dairy. I went back to vegetarian actually during this time because I was back
Mm.
because my ex-husband is not vegetarian or anything. He's a meat eater, junk food eater, restaurant eater, fast food eater. So I was just like, I'm eating whatever, like I was like whatever. I didn't eat meat obviously, but like I would still eat like dairy and eggs and bread and junk food, ice cream, all that stuff. So anyways, yeah, I gained a lot of weight. My poor children, I actually feel so bad for my kids that I ate that stuff while I was pregnant. Um, because I think the body needs to clean out before you get pregnant, before you conceive. But we'll save that for my next child.
Yeah, but do
So
the best you can, with your
yeah, yeah. So then when I after I had my daughter, I was like, I saw Dr. Furman on
Mm.
TV. He was doing a special talking about his book Eat to Live. And that really, really inspired me. I bought the book because he said everybody who eats this way loses 20 pounds in the first month, in the first 6 weeks or first month or whatever. And I was like trying to lose the baby weight. So I was like, oh my gosh, I need this book. I ordered it right away. I read it like in the first week that I got it. And I was like, I got to start this. So I did his strict 6 week plan and I did. I lost like a pound a day is what he says. And it worked because it was no salt, no oil, very low fat, and a lot of raw, but then steamed veggies for dinner. So like lots of like a big plate of like steamed kale and collard greens, but
Mm.
no salt or anything. So, I would use like no salt seasoning kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And then beans, like he said like eat beans and stuff. So I did his protocol. I lost the weight, but then I saw Annette Larkins and she is a
Aha.
long-term raw vegan. And I saw this little segment of her on the news, and they said this woman found the fountain of youth, and she was in her 60s. She looked like she was in her 30s, and I was like, "How is that possible?" So,
Right.
I mean, you know me with the raised by the vanity mom, like wanting to look beautiful. I was like, "Okay, we're going raw now." So I was like, "This is what we're doing. I'm going to be raw for the rest of my life, just
There you
like that."
go.
Okay, so it's been a long journey since then. Yeah, so then I went raw, and if you saw the before and after, from after I had my daughter, from like after she came out, you could still see like how heavy I was until a year later. 1 year later, I looked like a completely different person. Literally looked like a supermodel from eating. My skin was like glowing. It was alive. My eyes were bright. My skin was like porcelain. Like
Wow.
literally like flawless. There was nothing on my face. Like everybody would look at my skin like just blown away. What else? Like I was very, very thin, like perfect build, not too skinny, just like beautiful. Like my body, I probably had the body of probably better than I was when I was in high school.
Mm.
I was fitting into clothes that I hadn't fit in years. What else? I felt way more connected to my purpose. And then since then, I teeter-tottered. I kind of, yo-yoed back and forth with the raw vegan diet. Um, the thing is that I never really solidified the vegan diet.
Mm.
So I would yo-yo back between raw vegan and vegetarian.
Mm.
and I would go back to vegetarian. I did this for many years until probably 6 years ago. I finally was like I'm going to go vegan. So now I'm like, like really, really strict on the vegan. And it's easy for me. It used to be hard for me to not eat the dairy and the eggs. Now I don't think about dairy or eggs or animal products at all. It took a long time for me to get here, but I feel like every time I fell, every trial and error, like, I got stronger. And then then now I do struggle with the raw vegan diet, but I'm so much like, I don't even know how to say this. Like, even though I struggle with it, I don't, when I eat plant-based, it's a cleaner, healthier plant-based diet. It's not like I go, too far off the rail. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I love that you're talking about this because so many people just say cold turkey, cold fruited overnight, and it doesn't work like that. Like some people do it and it works, but I think that slow transition is really a much more gentler, easier approach for the body and also the emotions. It says it took you 6 years, like you said, to get out a vegetarian to get to vegan, and like, do you know, or can you remember, like, what was that point that like took you over the edge to be like, okay, now I'm done with animal products? Was it something emotionally, or was it just like a willpower inside?
Environment. I think it was
Okay,
environment. Yeah, because when I moved to LA, my kids moved in with their dad. So when I was
okay,
living with the kids, I think it was harder for me.
got it.
And then also when I moved to LA, not only did I not have to cook for the kids every night, every day, I also created the Raw Food Worldwide Meetup. So having community of people, like-minded people, also really helped. And because there's so many vegans, not just raw foodists, but like hardcore vegans here in LA that would come to my
Yeah.
meetups, really, really shined a light for me to do it for animals, not just for health reasons. Because for me, it was always the beauty, the aesthetic. It was always the health reasons. It was always longevity. But, the thing with the animals never really clicked for me because I never actually ate animals. I didn't really eat
Right.
meat. So it wasn't really my big why. So I didn't correlate eggs and dairy you know what I mean? You just think like, oh, milk's not harming anything. Eggs aren't
Yeah.
harming anything because you don't really know. So they really put things into perspective for me and like shined a light on, all of that. So that, really helped. So
Wow. Wow.
I
So
think,
you
I
really,
think, yeah, like surrounding yourself with people, your environment, like people can do it. They can, Annette Larkins, she ate raw vegan for 30 years, cooking meat for her husband. I
I
don't know.
know.
Like, I don't know how people do it. Like,
Yeah.
I can't cook like macaroni and cheese for my kids and not be tempted to taste it. Like
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of discipline. Like, I'm the kind of person I have to remove that like temptation. Like now I'm very particular. Like I won't even go to certain restaurants, like if it's going to be too hard, or like even parties, like not saying that I'll eat, because I will not go off of vegan, but if I go to a party and there's like chips and guac and there's like a lot of salt in the guac and there's chips and
Yeah.
things like that, I'll eat the chips and guac because it's in front of me. You know what I mean? Even
Yeah.
because it's vegan, but I'll eat it even though I know I don't want it,
Yeah.
but I'll still eat it because it's like, it's easy, it's there, the social aspect too is like really like challenging for me. So I try to eliminate social settings that revolve around food.
Smart.
I try not to eat socially as much as possible. So I have more control over what I'm eating. And then when I socialize with people, I try to do other activities.
Yeah, I think that's a really good advice, especially when you are in that and you're changing your lifestyle. Because if you quit drinking alcohol, but you continue to go to the bar, it's going to be so
Yeah,
difficult to not have a
totally.
drink. You know what I mean? You gotta give up the bar if you're giving up
That's
the
so
alcohol.
true.
So
Yeah.
it,
I mean, it's kind of sad because our whole society and culture revolves around food with the social aspect. You think of like holidays, birthdays, business meetings, convention, everywhere you go, you're the first thing you're thinking of what kind of food do they have here?
right.
That's what
And
we're thinking of.
Yep. And what food can I bring? What can I share with people, because it's a way of for people to express their love, which is why I love the fact that you made this Raw Food Worldwide Meetup, right? So now
Yeah.
you have these meetups where everybody can come and enjoy food that you want to
Right.
eat. Right?
Right. So we are social beings. We like to eat and socialize. So I did create the Raw Food Worldwide Meetup for people to be able to socialize and share, their passion with raw foods and health. Um, but I think what I was referring to with what makes it hard is that society and the culture, the food that they're revolving around isn't necessarily the food that we want to be eating. So that does make it a little bit complicated. That's why it's really important to find community that does eat the same way. Not that we can't, still have experiences, in other settings with different forms of food, because you can always bring your own food wherever you go. But
Yeah.
yeah, there is just something special about like not being the only one at the table eating vegan or not the only one at the table eating raw, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely can relate to that for sure. It's like, oh, just gonna sit here and we're gonna eat our fruit. But you know what? I always tell people like when you bring like let's say fruit or like a big salad, people always end up coming to it.
Oh, people love
Like
the fruit. They go for the fruit salad or whatever. If there's fruit, it's
yeah,
always gone. Yeah.
yeah, it's always gone
Yeah.
right away. And then they go to everything else, which is just so telling, what people are naturally inclined to want to eat. They see the colorful fruits and the colors and they're like, oh, yes, let's have this. So, and
Yeah.
especially children, you can see it in children right away.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
absolutely love that. Yeah.
Well,
Um,
I mean, children, I mean, they'll eat what you give them, unfortunately. So if you give them food that is not good, they're going to eat that and get kind of addicted to that. But I
yeah,
think, raising your kids healthy from the start is the way to go for sure.
absolutely. And how about your children? Are they on your mom diet? Do they follow you? How are they with food?
Well, okay, that was a long journey. So when I when I went raw, because my son was not raw or vegan when I went raw, so I was like, I read Victoria Buchenka's book, and she went raw overnight. She covered over the stove. She unplugged the microwave or got rid of the microwave. I think she smashed it or something. I can't even remember, but it was like this crazy story. So I was like, my ex-husband, he was deployed overseas, and I was like, I can do this. He's going to be gone for the next like 9 months. I can totally do this to 7 or 9 months. I can't remember. But either way, I had a big chunk of time where it was just me and my little children. And I'm like, they're just going to do whatever I do?
Yeah.
So it was really, really hard for my son because he was already conditioned to eating cereals and junk food and things like that. So, and dairy, pizza, everything. So I tried really hard to make all the raw versions of everything for my son. And he was so sweet. Like he would eat it, because he wanted like a peanut butter and jelly. So I'm trying to make like raw bread and stick like
Oh,
homemade raw jelly in it, like, with like raw almond butter. And I don't know. He,
wow.
he didn't really complain, but I could see he was miserable. Like he was only like 4. And my daughter,
Oh,
she was a year old, so she was still breastfeeding, and she loved it. Loved it. She loved the fruit, loved the green juices, loved the smoothies. Like she just loved the raw stuff. So I struggled with my son. My daughter, she would come in and she would juice with me, like, for years after this. And then every time my ex-husband would come home, I would make something healthy for my kids, and then he would like have pizza at the table. And then,
right.
he would share his pizza with the kids before they would eat the food that I made for them. So it was like this really hard battle. And then when we split up, I would feed the kids vegan and healthy, packing like fruits and vegetables in their lunch. And I did give my son meat because he did like meat. So I gave him like chicken and fish, but I was like really particular about everything else that they ate. And then, but my daughter, she was like mostly vegan, except they would go to their dad's house and then he would get them fast food. He would give them soda. He would give them candy, like anything they wanted. So
Wow.
then they would come back and they would be like struggling with what I was trying to give them. So it was not easy. So now they live with him, and they eat whatever they want. And then I live here and eat whatever I want. And then when I see my daughter, I will take her out to a restaurant. Like I'll take her to like, she likes Olive Garden. So I'll take her. She doesn't eat meat in front of me. Honestly, like I don't think she eats that much meat anyway. I think she's more into the cheese.
Yeah.
I don't think she's a big meat eater. So when she's with me, she never eats meat. And then I will bring my own food to the restaurant. So it's cool that she sees that actually. I'll either fast and not eat anything at all and she'll eat, or I'll bring my own food.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's totally okay with it, you know?
Yeah.
I actually think it inspires her. I really think it does.
Yeah, kind of like I think it's really beautiful too that you're not forcing them to do anything, that
I can't. They're teenagers at this point. I can't force them to do anything. If I tried to force anything, they probably would never speak to me again. You know?
Right.
So, I mean, my daughter, like, she's 15. Like, you can't tell her what to do. You know,
Yeah.
like there's no, I think the only thing with teenagers is you have to just try to set the example and you have to try to inspire them and educate. But like, I don't think forcing really works well with anybody, you know?
No, you're gonna go out and like sneak out and do it anyways.
I mean, look at Jillian Barry's daughter. She never forced her kids and now her daughter's vegan.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. And then I have another friend who has two kids. One of them is raw. She wants to be raw. It's her choice. And then her son is plant-based, but he doesn't want to be raw, and she doesn't force them. So
Smart. Well, it's good because they can make their own decision. I always say, like, especially to my children too, like, well, how does this make you feel?
That's a
Like,
good one. Yeah.
how is it making you feel? And they can make that choice. Well, are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling angry? So they can start correlating with what they're eating is actually like affecting their emotional state.
That's so smart. I feel like I wish I had that awareness. I don't think I had that awareness until I was in my 20s, because I used to eat tons of heavy food, junk food, fried food. And then I went out with my friend, and for the first time, like I would never order a salad when I went out to a restaurant. And she ordered a salad. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get a salad. And I felt so light after. It was the first time in my life that I ever correlated like how something makes me feel after I eat it. And then after that, I was like, wow, food has an impact on how you feel. And to think that I went that long without having that awareness, like most people don't have this awareness at all.
Ever.
So to teach your kids at such a young age is incredible.
Yeah. Well, and I'd love to hear too a little bit about, because I see all your posts about, food addictions and the books that you just wrote a book, right, on this? Or you're writing one?
I'm working on it. Yeah, I have a lot that I'm working on. But okay, so food addiction. Okay, I first discovered, this whole journey was like change your diet, change your life kind of philosophy, and it's not the end result that matters. It's the, the evolution, your self-discovery, like how you're evolving through the lessons that you're learning when you give up certain foods, and the awareness of like, how does this make me feel? Or, like really just sitting with yourself through these cravings, like where is the cravings actually stemming from? Then 8 years ago? Like 8 years ago, I learned about Ray Mayor, who's a breatharian. And I was really, really fascinated about the breatharian philosophy. And I was like, I love this. I want to study this. So, I started incorporating more fasting. And then I would notice, like, I would go days without food. And I'm like, I'm not even hungry. So where is the hunger coming from? And then like the second you take a bite of food, the hunger comes back in and you're like looking for food everywhere, like you're like, oh my God, I wasn't even hungry. But the second I had that taste, it's almost like Eve with the forbidden apple in the garden. You know what I mean? Like the hunger came back. And then I just started really realizing, then I read Victoria Bachenko's book, 12 Steps to Raw. So 12 Steps is like a 12-step program of food addiction. So she talks about being addicted to cooked food. But then I read another breatharian book. His name was Sunfire Jericho, or Jericho Sunfire.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. He talks about food addiction, and the way he talks about it, I was like, holy crap. Like it makes so much sense. Like how we're just all so addicted to food. And then, I see these people who, I'm not saying like we all need to be breatharian. I think we're all just naturally breatharian.
Yeah.
But I don't have any like strong goals or like, I'm not striving to do anything. I'm just on my own journey, just seeing where life takes me. But there are people who I'm witnessing going a long periods of time without eating, and they're thriving.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if we don't need to eat as much as we do, why do we eat so much? Why do we even think that we need certain foods in order to live, or in order to survive, in order to be healthy? It's all just like comes down to our beliefs. Like, I mean, even when it comes to the protein myth,
Oh yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
it's like if you need protein to build muscle or whatever. But there's like so many vegans who are not eating animals, getting plant protein or whatever. So,
Yeah.
it's like just so much cognitive dissonance around food, and then there's like, there's like one study saying like you need this to be healthy, and then another study that says the opposite, you know?
Yeah. What do you believe? People
Yeah.
are
So it's like, what do you believe? And then you have to just kind of get in touch with your own intuition of like, because the truth is distorted. Like we don't even know what the truth is. We don't know what causes people to age slowly 100%. We're still learning. We don't know what makes someone live to 100 years old, because diet's not all. It's not just diet. There's so many different factors that go into play. So back to the food addiction, I was just kind of trying to this is where it came from. I gained 40 pounds last year.
okay.
Okay, so I stopped eating raw. I went through some hard challenges with my family. I gained 40 pounds. It was rough. It was really rough. So then I did like a couple months where I was like fed up with it. And I was like, I can't stop eating. And I was like, I have this addiction. It's so bad. So I don't want to eat for pleasure. So that was my main thing. So I did like kind of like my own Lent. It was like kind of like, not during Lent, but it was kind of like my own Lent. I did like 4 months where I had no salt, no oil, no seasonings, like no seasonings, no garlic, like nothing,
Yeah.
no onion
Cayenne,
powder, nothing, no cayenne,
paprika.
nothing,
Yeah.
no seasonings. And I also was not really doing fruit. I did a little bit of fruit, but like I did fruit that wasn't super sweet, and fruit that wasn't even my favorite. And then I did mostly just steamed vegetables, because I just wanted to experiment to see where this addiction is coming from, right? Because if my body was truly hungry, I would eat anything. I would eat whatever's in front of me. But if you really try the experiment, you look at the food that doesn't have the flavor and you're like, I don't really want that.
Yeah.
I'm not really in the mood for that. So it's like, okay, well, if you don't want it just as it is, then you're not actually hungry. So it's like, where is that hunger coming from? It's coming from boredom. It's coming from habit. It's coming from emotional regulation. It's coming from you're numbing something, anxiety, the social anxiety. A lot of times we go to parties and we're not even hungry, and we eat because it's like calming us down, and being around people gives us something to do.
Yeah.
We eat socially. We eat for entertainment. We eat for the pleasure of it. We eat for the high of it. Like you put all those spices on your food, you're having like almost like not an out of body experience, but you're having some sort of a altered consciousness experience.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like the hot sauce is all on
that's what
top.
I'm talking about. Yeah, so you're not actually eating because you're hungry.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if you just try to eat just for nourishment, just for the biological need to live so you don't die tomorrow, would you actually eat this food? And like 99% of the time, like you're not actually hungry for to live.
Yeah.
So we don't even cue into those hunger signals, those full signals. We're doing other things while we're eating. We're on our phone, we're watching YouTube, we're having a conversation at the dinner table, and we're not actually being mindful with our body. And if you are mindful, you'll notice that you take like 2-3 bites, a couple bites, and you're already feeling full.
Wow.
It really doesn't take that much to feel full.
Yeah.
So Dr. Furman has this thing. He says, eat as much as you want, but stop before you're full. So you
Mm,
have this addiction in with cooked food, and then you go to vegan foods, and then because you're addicted to the cooked food, you find all these processed vegan foods to curb your craving, your addiction. And then you go to raw without getting to the root of your addiction. And then you're making all these raw food gourmet. And I'm not dissing anybody. I'm just saying to think about it. Just think
yes.
about it. You have
Yes.
all these addictions. So now you're making all these raw food gourmet things to mask your addiction. So you're just taking your addiction from cooked food to vegan to raw food. And then because you didn't get to the root of your addiction and you're eating all these gourmet raw foods, if you fall off of eating raw, you're going to go all the way back to the junk food because you never got over the addiction to that in the first place.
Yep. Wow.
So that's where the slow comes in, not cold turkey. You can go cold turkey. Some people can do it, but I'm saying try to master eating just plant-based
Yeah.
first. Try to
Yeah.
master eating mindful eating. Try to master your hunger cues. Try to master
Mm.
no seasonings. Like you don't have to eat no seasonings forever, but it's a really cool experiment. If you go and you don't eat for pleasure at all, you're gonna like really come face to face with like this is what I was feeling. I was feeling so depressed because I wasn't eating for pleasure. There was no pleasure in the food. I was like, I don't even want this. I'm gonna eat it because my brain thinks that I need it, but I'm not hungry.
Mm.
But I'm going to eat it, but I'm not really enjoying it. So really, we really only want to eat for the pleasure of it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Girl,
Um,
this is a good book.
yeah,
Like what you're just sharing right now is gold. It's gold,
yeah,
and it can help so many people actually going on that path because oftentimes they blame, like you said, they're blaming the food and they're not looking at what the actual root cause it is, right? Like I'm eating this food because I'm pissed at my mom, right?
right,
I'm pissed at my
right.
mom. So I'm gonna eat this, I'm gonna eat that. It doesn't matter which diet you choose. Because it's all
Hmm.
just like you said, it's masking what
And
you're
and then I realized how much I use food as like a substitute for joy in my life, because when I took away the pleasure and I wasn't getting the dopamine hit from the food, I got depressed and I almost got to this feeling like if I can't eat for pleasure, what is the point of even being here? What's the point of even living? So it's really important that we find joy outside of eating and just eat for the sake of nourishing your body.
Mm,
And that's like
mm,
the revelation I had. I'm not there, like I'm still working through my addictions, but it came to me like so clear as day. Is like if we really just ate for nourishment, we would just eat the bare minimum, like just to eat, move on with our day. If you ever saw the movie The Matrix, they're eating this tiny little bowl of oatmeal. It's not even a big bowl. It's a little bowl of like this oatmeal, right? And Neo is asking Morpheus or somebody about it. And he says, it's everything the body needs. It's all the amino acids. That's it. That's all you need is this little cup of food right here. That's it. Like, could you imagine? But we can't do that because we're so attached to the pleasure of it. We're attached to using it for emotional regulation. We're attached to the entertainment of it. We we're addicted. It's an addiction.
we're addicted, and
It's
what would happen if we weren't addicted and we had that much more time on our hands?
you would create. You would create. You
Yeah.
would you would be of service to humanity. You would make an
Yes.
impact. You would innovate. You would design something. You would do, I don't know, you'd go down in history for something,
Yes.
If we just, stop consuming so much and start creating.
Yeah. Start serving. I love that. I
Start
love that.
serving. Yeah.
I love that you said that. It just makes so much sense. There was a woman I just saw recently on a video who hasn't ate anything in 3 years, and she doesn't sleep either. She said when she sleeps she gets more tired, and she runs. She like runs at night. She doesn't eat food, and they said, "Why do you do this?" And she says, "Because if I'm sleeping and I'm eating, I'm not helping other people." And I was like,
Wow.
she's got it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not for these, egotistical reasons. It's not for vanity or, like you said, it's purely because she wants to help others and she figured it out. Like, I mean, that's like
I
you
know who
said.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't I can't think of her name, but she's somewhere in Europe because it was in, it had
Yeah.
captions in
I
it.
forget her, not Nastia or
Yes,
Anastasia. Yeah. Uh-huh.
something like that. Yeah,
I know,
yeah,
it's pretty wild, right? That's what I mean.
yeah.
Like we don't even realize, like there's people who are saying like they don't sleep. So it's like everything that we think that we know, we have to just like have discernment, be like maybe this is not the whole truth. The same thing with eating animals or the same thing with needing this or needing this or I don't know, even supplements, like anything. Like we don't really know like what the truth is because there's science that could tell you that wheatgrass is good for you and then science that could tell you wheatgrass is not good for you or
Right.
science that could tell you that mangoes are like gonna make you young and then mangoes are gonna age you or you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying like
yeah, totally. But all you got to do is just go onto ChatGPT and find out the truth, right?
but here's the thing, what if both are true
Right. Well,
based on your beliefs? I don't know.
on
I don't know. Yeah.
on your perception, you know what I mean? Which I love that.
Like because then you have the placebo effect or the nocebo effect, right? Because it's like if
Yep.
I believe that this mango is gonna make me healthy, it's gonna make me healthy. Or if I believe that the sugar in the mango is gonna cause aging on my skin, then maybe it will because of that.
Right. 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 Or if I eat this raw piece of meat, this is what's going to give me longevity, Like when you truly believe it, it can
And
happen.
and I'm not saying that eating meat couldn't give you a long life. It might, but they're hurting animals at the same time. So that's
Yeah.
the thing that we have to think about is it's not just for the health. It's to be compassionate to all creatures too.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure that you could be healthy, young, beautiful, vibrant, and live a long life no matter what you eat if you had the right mindset. But we don't want to cause harm to the planet, cause harm to
Totally. Totally.
I mean, even if it's not causing harm to your body, think about all the people working in the factory farms, the conditions.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
some of the worst, most suffering. I don't know if it's the word suffering, but the worst working conditions of any job.
Yeah. I remember I was 14 and they took me to a slaughterhouse for like a field trip in Nebraska. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to be here,
Oh
It's
wow.
it's awful, it
So
really
my daughter
is.
at her school, they have a class called it's like a livestock class or farm class or something. So during the whole year, you raise an animal, a pig or something, and then at the end, you can either slaughter it yourself or you can sell
No,
the pig to be slaughtered.
no, no,
Yeah,
no. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
How does she feel about that? Like
She
how did
she wouldn't do it. She's like I won't take that class. She didn't want to do it, but she has friends that are in the class.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's I've never heard of that before. I guess that's wow.
Is it crazy?
Yeah, it's really crazy. My daughter would lose it. Like she loses it like, a ant dies, So I can't even imagine,
Yeah,
what
yeah. That's just in
yeah.
the school system. That's in
Yeah,
our school system.
in
Wow.
our school
Public
system.
schools.
I Yeah, and the farmers that are like agreeing upon this too and like let's bring this to children, but in some people like when you grow up on a farm they just see that as like normal. Like for them it
Well,
doesn't
yeah.
even it doesn't even correlate, you know what I mean? Because if they grow up on a farm, like I grew up on a turkey farm.
I think it
So
also has to do with religion too. And a lot of religions, because I don't know if you've seen Christspiracy. Have you seen Christspiracy?
oh yeah.
So a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
religions are for like not just okay with eating animals, like they think that killing and sacrificing and eating animals is actually like gonna help them spiritually in some way, or that's what God wanted or God told him to eat the
Right.
animals or whatever. So I think if you're in like a religious town too,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
in
for
the
sure.
and the school is more like Christian based, you know what I mean?
Well,
Um,
It's
Yeah.
interesting you talk about this, because if you look at the Ten Commandments, and the first one is thou shalt not kill, and they don't realize that thou shalt not kill is actually all things.
Yeah.
So it just, things get construed, right? And that movie's so good. I cried so much in that movie.
It's such a good movie. It's such a good
Right.
movie. It really clarified things for me because I grew up not eating animals. I was okay with everybody eating animals around me because I didn't think about the animals. I was just like, everybody eats meat. Everybody
Yeah.
eats meat but me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one. I didn't know anybody who didn't eat meat. So I thought I was weird, I don't even think I knew that what a vegan was until I was like 20 or 18 or something.
Wow. Because you just were.
Yeah, I just called myself a vegetarian. I didn't even know that vegan was a thing.
Yeah.
So I went to this church a few years ago because it was by my house, and I never went to Christian church. I had always gone to Catholic church all my life, and then I stopped going to church for a few years, and then I was like, I'm going to try this Christian church out, and they would get like Korean barbecue for everybody. I wouldn't eat, and I would explain to them that I was vegan. Never once did I push my beliefs onto any of them, but they all made me feel uncomfortable for not eating animals. Even the pastors. So that said something to me of like how distorted like reality is. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Right.
everyone's living their life through the lens of their own perceptions, which is such a weird thing to think about, you
Yep.
know?
Yep. Yep. I mean, that's exactly what it is. You're right. Everyone's living through their own. It's like this is their world, right? And that's their perception of
Yeah.
how. And then you have your own, and then we're looking at each other, and sometimes they intermingle, and sometimes they're
Oh, I
just
love
not.
when they intermingle. When I can look into someone's eyes and I'm
Yeah.
like, I see you, you see me, we're on the
Yeah.
same wavelength, we
Totally.
get it. It's almost like this telepathic understanding of like, it's
For
just
sure.
amazing.
For sure. And
And when, and
someone
when,
just said,
oh.
they look like the same person. It's the same person talking to each other.
Well, I was looking at the flyer that you made. I was like, wow, we really do look like the same, just in a different facial expression. That's
We're
so
both in
funny.
the same sphere of reality. We both have like similar perceptions of
Well, it's
reality.
funny because they say that like when people have pets for a long time, the pets and the humans start to
Yeah.
resemble each other, you
Yeah.
know? And I don't know, like husband and wives can start to look alike,
Totally.
you know what I mean?
Totally.
So,
That's so
that's
funny.
interesting. I don't know why, but
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And what you were saying something else, and I interrupted you. I apologize. You had a train of thought before I mentioned the we look alike. Someone said we look alike. Um, if you don't remember, that's no
I
worries.
can't remember. I don't remember
Yeah.
what we were talking about. Uh, I don't know. What is there anything we didn't cover?
I don't think so. I mean, do you want to share a little bit more about, obviously you have this book in the works, but you have other books, you have music that
Well,
you
I'm
share.
not putting this book out yet because I'm still in the process of working through my addiction. But right now, I'm not focused so much on trying to be raw. I'm focused on discipline and consistency in my diet right now with whole food plant-based and trying to practice mindful eating, trying to stop eating before I'm full. Um, yeah, that's what I'm really focusing on right now. And then, yeah, I use AI to make stuff. So I love to create. I
Yeah.
think that we're all creators. And I think that AI is an amazing tool that we can use to, break through our limiting beliefs. And, what it's done for me is it just really just expanded my creative genius. I used to like have ideas and I would sit on them, but I felt stuck. And now I feel like I can create. And I feel like that's what we're really meant to do in this world is we're meant to create, we're meant to serve, we're meant to make the world a better place. So yeah, I make music, I write books, videos, and I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, and the Raw Food Worldwide Meetup I created. So that we do a few times a year, and anybody can host a raw food meetup. You don't even have to be, fully raw or anything like that. It's just people who want to just eat raw together with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think. So you could do it any, like whatever city that you're in. So I think one year we had over 70 cities participate. So
Wow.
everyone was having raw vegan meetups all on the same day,
So cool.
all in the same day, like all over the world. Think of the little pocket clusters of
Yeah.
like love and positivity happening all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
That was
that.
my vision. That was my vision, you know, just because like, you know, when people are together, they're eating healthy, there's so much love, like everybody's just like you can feel it. Like when you go to these raw food meetups, there's so much love. Everybody's kind to each other. Like there's so much love radiating. You feel like you're like, I don't know, on some kind of like psychedelic drug or
Yeah,
something, you
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? I feel like I'm on like MDMA or something, you know? So it's like, it just, you get this high, you know? And like everybody's feeling like that. So our consciousness is raising, our hearts are open. That's expanding to the communities outside of us. Energetically, it's affecting, you know, our vibration is raising. We're affecting people outside of the pocket of this community. And then when you have that all over the world happening on the same day, it's like, you know, we're just like encapsulating the earth. Well, however you see it, whether this or this, but we're
Yeah.
encapsulating whatever your perception is. Encapsulating the land of the world of earth.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like we're
Yes.
helping to elevate the consciousness of the planet,
So beautiful.
or the
I
whatever you call it. I don't know. I feel like I can't say anything without offending people, you know, especially like there's like people in the raw food community who are well, anybody, but they're like flat earthers. So like if I say globe or planet, and I don't really care
yeah,
about you
yeah,
either
yeah.
way, but if I say something, they'll just start debating me. They're like, it's not a globe, it's not this, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm
I
just
know,
really
I know. They're coming in the comments, girl. Oh man, I love it. Well, so you're doing the when's the next Raw Food Worldwide Meetup? Do you have a date for that, or should
I
people
haven't
just?
planned it. We've been doing every few months. So we just had one
Okay.
not too long ago, but we'll do
Yeah.
another one in a few months. So follow the Raw Food Worldwide Meetups on Instagram, and then, you know,
Yay.
just kind of keep a lookout for it. So if you don't,
Awesome.
and this is like the thing is to have community for support around you, you know, even if you're not raw, but you're trying to go raw or you're plant-based, whatever it is, it's so nice to be able to have community because we're social beings. Like we need to be around each other. We need community. And if you don't have community, just build it and they will come.
Mm-hmm.
Build the community.
Build it up. Oh, so sweet. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on here today.
Oh my God. Thank
It's
you for
like
having me.
it's like I'm just talking to a sister over and over again. Like we just on the
Yay.
phone from back in the day. That's amazing. Awesome. Well, is there any other ways that people can, obviously you have your music as well, which I think is amazing.
Oh,
It's
so
so inspirational.
the music is powerful. So I don't just make music. I make music around, I have songs written, songs about raw vegan, songs about going through food cravings, songs about, all of them are empowering, they're inspiring, you know, embodying the divine feminine, songs about ageless beauty, about, you know, like just loving self-love, like they're all really inspiring music. So, you know, what we get on the radio is not always great. You know, it's the same thing with TV shows and movies. So that's why I think it's really important that I'm putting out this music because it's to uplift, inspire, and empower people. It's clean music, you know?
Yeah. I know my
Yeah.
kids love your music, so
Oh yeah, the veggie kid
yes,
songs.
they
Yeah,
love
there's
it.
even vegan songs for kids too.
Yeah, so sweet.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
and
it.
I have vegan books for kids.
Girl, you got so much stuff going on. I love it. I love it. And everyone go to her page, follow her inspiration. I love also about you that you just share from whatever's going on in your heart. You know, you're just sharing. And I think it's really inspiring to others to just create and to share and to spread that.
Well, yeah, it's not just to create to like okay. The thing is to express yourself. You know, like just authentically express yourself because we have become so accustomed to judging people's creations because we live in this capitalistic world, and it's like everything we do has to lead to like, how's it going to make money, and we go to school and they judge your writing, they judge your paper, they judge your art, everything's critiquing. And then we get so afraid to express what's really in here because we're afraid that no one's going to like it. So don't create for anybody else but you. Create because like anything is possible, like you could just come up with any idea and just know that it's not stupid. It's not a stupid idea. It's beautiful. And you don't even know where it's going to lead to you because, one creation is going to inspire something else. And eventually, like, you're going to just step into your purpose. You're going to step into the person that you're supposed to be, instead of like stifling it and like holding everything inside. There's a message inside of all of us that wants to come out.
Yes. Yes, I love this. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank
Again,
you.
for joining us, for being on here. What an inspiration you
Oh,
are.
wait, what 7 deadly sin are you on?
We are on pride.
Right, okay. I was thinking about that, and pride, there's a very fine line between pride and self-love.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I
Yep.
think I'll just say this one last thing before we go, is that a lot of times we dim our light because we're afraid that loving ourselves will come across as pride.
That's a good one. Everyone, think about that. Take that in the homework. That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that fine line for sure. But when you like you said, when you love yourself and you start loving your creations, who you are, who God made you, then really, and you're not like gloating about it. I mean, like, look at me, I'm better than you. I think that's the trick, is like, it's not thinking you're better than somebody else.
Right.
It's
Right.
about being okay with who you are, but also being okay with who other people are and where they're at, and not judging, like you said, not judging the other person for where they're at, and if they're not up to where you're at, And we talked about that in like the vegan community, the raw vegan community, the carnivore community. Everyone does that, right? They're judging each other. Well, I'm better than you because
If anything, I think there's more judgment in the vegan and raw vegan community like than anywhere else. I don't know why, but there's a lot of judgment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of judgment. Yeah, letting others voluntarily. Yes.
Yeah,
We got to stop the judgment, you guys. Not like toward ourselves, towards other people.
Amen.
Yeah. I think that like with pride too is like being able to love yourself, but also see like your shortcomings, like where you need to evolve, where you need to improve on,
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely, girl. Well, I gotta go feed this little baby down there.
I have to pee. I've been holding it the whole time.
I'll go release my milk while you go release your pee.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor.
So welcome. All right. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.